Hi, and welcome to this live reading from The Girl and the Demon, The Girl and the Raven, Book 3 by Pauline Gruber, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Lucy Walker. I stop abruptly once inside St. Aquinas High School's cafeteria. It's so different. The makeover had nothing to do with fireballs or gargoyles. The huge space had been repainted over the summer. One wall features a large mural depicting teenagers of every race. Missing from the group are gargoyles, demons, and witches. Another wall features a massive wildcat, the school mascot, with dagger-like teeth and razor-sharp claws. So much like Marcus's father Garrett after he morphed that night he tried to kill me. "Hi, Junior," Katie Stevens teases as she grabs my arm. Her smile immediately fades. "Hey, what's wrong? You look like you're going to puke." I swallow the lump of fear in my throat. Garrett is dead. He can't hurt me now. First day jitters." I suppress a shiver and pull my best friend into a tight hug. Katie's tan skin glows against the white button-down shirt of her uniform after 2 months in Fort Myers, Florida. Her white blonde hair looks nearly radioactive from days of sunning on the beach. In a student body of approximately 1,400 students, we arrive for the second of 4 lunch periods. Throngs of students shove past us, their conversations so loud that I have to yell for Katie to hear me. "I don't care that we texted and talked all the time. I missed you like crazy," I say, squeezing closer to her to avoid sharp elbows and pushing bodies. "I missed you like crazy," Katie says. "There's no way I'm going to let my dad keep me until the day before school starts next summer." I feign grumpiness. "I told you." "I know you did," Katie exclaims, her deep ocean blue eyes wide. "But you were too busy spending those couple of weeks after school ended with Trevor," Katie says with a grin. "With Trevor," I say at the exact same moment. My best friend's expression turns serious. "Things seemed pretty intense between you and Marcus. I really didn't think you noticed." That's an understatement for what happened when Marcus's father showed up in Chicago. Violent chaos is a more accurate description of what went down in St. Aquinas' gymnasium before sophomore year ended. I killed Marcus's father after he tried to kill me, my father, and Marcus. His thugs tried to take out Dylan. When school ended, Marcus, Dylan, and I were still reeling from it all. But Katie is not part of that world. She has no powers. I can't ever tell her monsters are real. For her own safety, I need to keep her as far away from my supernatural life as possible. "Drama with Marcus's family," I say with a heavy sigh. "Were your dad and stepmom sad when you left?" "For the first time, yes," Katie laughs. "If I knew getting a part-time job during my stay would make them miss me so much, I would have done it last year. They were actually teary-eyed at the airport. That hasn't happened since I was 12. "Katie Stevens, an official member of the workforce. It's about time, slacker," Susie Rodriguez announces, squeezing out of a horde of students entering the lunchroom. "Thanks for waiting for me." She raises her face and takes an exaggerated sniff at the air. "Sweet, tangy barbecue. I bet they're serving pulled pork sandwiches. One of my favorites. Chloe's, too." Katie and I both hug Susie. "Not all of us are lucky enough to have a family that owns a chain of super popular resale clothing stores. Talk about guaranteed employment," Katie playfully complains, tugging on Susie's long, dark brown hair. Susie's mom and 2 of her aunts opened their first store 10 years ago, and the family is in the process of opening a 3rd location before Christmas. Susie has promised to put in a good word if one of us wants a job, but I love the kids I nanny too much to leave them. "Between the stores, creating my art, and running my music blog, I've been working for years," Susie says with an air of authority. "I'm a pro with art and business. You, on the other hand, are an amateur." Katie laughs. "I'll have a job for the rest of my life, so what if I wanted one more year of freedom?" "We're 17, Susie says to Katie and me with a glimmer in her eyes. "And upperclassmen." She surveys the lunchroom. Tables are filling up fast as more students bustle around us. Lunch trays clatter onto tables. The buzz of conversation is nearly deafening. "Have you seen anyone else yet?" "No, we just got here," I tell her. Ella and Caroline are there in the upperclassmen section. You can't miss Ella's hair. It's like a burst of flames in the sea of people, Susie says. I follow the point of her finger, but don't see them through the crowd. Honestly, I don't try too hard. While I have adjusted to the massive size of St. Aquinas college prep and the overabundance of homework, my stomach hurts at the notion of having to see Ella every day. Should we place bets on how long it will take before Ella makes fun of my accent? I ask bitterly. Since I moved from Lexington, Tennessee to Chicago and joined Katie's circle of friends the summer before our sophomore year, Ella has taken cruel pleasure in trying to tear me down and make sure I understand the hierarchy of our group. According to her, I sit at the lowest rung. Katie grimaces. She's just jealous. Look, on the bright side, it's a new year and she had a fun summer. I bet she will be nicer to you. You're far cooler than she is. Have you seen her music collection? Susie asks, mimicking a gag. She squints across the room. Chloe's there now, too. Katie nudges me. Let's go get food. I'm starving. One of the reasons Katie and I hit it off so well is our mutual love of food. We're both always hungry. Her mom jokes that we each have a tapeworm. When are you going to come over so we can make lasagna and enchiladas for my mom and Jerry? Katie says as we join the line with lunch trays in hand. It was your idea to start cooking for them. Now they keep asking. I am determined to learn how to cook 2 of the dishes my father used to make for me. Once he returns home, I plan to surprise him by cooking for him. Weekday evenings, we can knock out homework first, or maybe Saturday nights after I get home from nannying for Mr. and Mrs. Douglas. Why not Sundays? Katie asks. I thought that would be the best day since you're off of work. Katie has no idea about my witch lessons and demon training. My dad hasn't come home yet. I'm still checking on his place on Sundays. My voice falters on that last part. I know what's coming next. When are you going to invite me to go with you? I've always wanted to see your dad's mansion. Katie asks as she hands her student ID card to the woman at the register to scan and pay for her lunch. Sure, come over. Don't mind the demon that may or may not be hanging around eager to kill me. Pass. My dad has strict rules about no friends at his house, I tell her. Does that rule apply to Marcus too? Katie asks with mock innocence. The truth is that both Marcus and Dylan Douglas joined me at Jude's. Dylan for our joint demon training, Marcus for company and protection while I check to see if Jude has returned or if Seamus McAllister, the aforementioned demon who wants to kill me, is lurking. At the upperclassmen table, I sit beside Katie and as far away from Ella as I can get. I'd rather deal with Katie's sulk over the no invite to my dad's house than Ella. It's time to schedule our first social event of the year. Who's up for a seance? Ella asks, less the question and more of a command to us, her less significant underlings. Leave it to Ella to come up with something dangerous on our first day of school. Caroline Appleberg grins, revealing her perfect toothpaste commercial-worthy teeth. The night of your slumber party? Sounds spooky and fun. Maybe we can call on Jim Morrison or Kurt Cobain, Ella says to Susie. She winks one reptilian blue-green eye. Cool, Susie and Katie say in unison. How about modern-day rock stars? Caroline mocks playfully, smoothing her silky blonde hair with her hand. Chloe Gardner fixes her deep brown eyes on Ella, her fingers still typing away on whatever game she plays on her phone. My grandmother says messing with spirits is not a good idea. Something about bad juju? Old people have no sense of adventure, Ella scoffs. I've been reading up on it. I know exactly what to do. Since when did Miss Makeover become a seance expert? More likely she will manage just enough to cause trouble. Losing my father to a summoned demon last year makes me wonder what kind of unfriendly spirits Ella could accidentally conjure up. I realized too late that I groaned aloud. Ella narrows her eyes at me. Wait. Are you afraid, Lucy? Such a witch. I meet her gaze head on. Nope. Chloe's grandmother happens to be right. It's a bad idea. Katie's gaze moves from Ella to me, her brows scrunched nervously. Ella grins and narrows her eyes at me. So, don't come. The rest of us are going to have a great time. It's reckless, Ella. Have a sleepover, watch movies, have a dance party or group pedicures. Crank call the football team, but skip the seance. Please, I say. Ella arches a sharp eyebrow at me. I did a lot to prepare for this. My plans are set. When did you turn into a nervous old woman? She and Caroline chuckle. Her hillbilly accent is as annoying as ever, Ella whispers to Caroline, not trying all that hard to keep her voice down. At least Caroline doesn't laugh this time. Give it a rest, Ella, Katie snaps. Caroline claps her hands together, grinning like an over-energized cheerleader. How's everyone's summer? Come on, we've barely seen each other since sophomore year let out. It's time to catch up. I spent most of the summer at the beach, Ella says, an edge to her voice. Is she feeling stung that Katie stood up to her for one of the first times ever? Everyone else takes turns sharing the highlights of their break. Caroline is sort of dating Dylan's football teammate, Chad. Chloe worked as a counselor at a science camp for kids and is still dating Derek. Susie juggled her job, her art, her music blog, and time with her boyfriend, Sean. Katie shared the highlights of her summer in Fort Myers. What about you, Lucy? Chloe asks, pulling her eyes away from the screen of her phone. Worked mostly and hung out with Marcus, I say, focusing on my lunch, and coping with the emotional fallout of murdering his father.